All right, welcome back. Well, we'll begin the first conversation around the issue that centers around insecurity in the country, which has become very, very appalling right now, even in the country. But joining me to talk about the insecurity challenges in Nigeria, and we'll be able to x-ray this conversation even from this angle, is Ajia Zainab Okino, who is the chairperson from the board of a Blueprint newspaper. But first, you're welcome, Ajia, to the Big Talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Ajia, let's look at the issues around the insecurity in the country. What do you make of the various insecurity challenges in the country right now, even from your angle and from your own observation across the country?
Overwhelming for a nation that has been reeling from insecurity for over 15 years now, and to think that there's no respite in sight. And I think it's also overwhelming for the security men, our security men, especially the military personnel on the front line. So just when they think that the end is in sight, it looks like the whole thing is escalating. So it leaves you to wonder whether government is actually in control of things. So for me, I think to secure the nation and secure Nigerians also need to sit up with. But I do admire, I do know that they are making efforts. If whatever is wrong somewhere, we need to fix it. But it is truly overwhelming for the citizens, for the men on the front line, and for the nation as a whole.
All right. Ajia, thank you so much for that feedback. But let's look at this whole security architecture in Nigeria and taking it back to the various states within the north central of Nigeria. A lot of people will say that the north central is under attack and is under a siege right now. But in your own observation, what do you make of this all various attacks coming from Nasarawa, then down to Kogi, then to Benue, and down now? Right now, Benue and Plateau have become a near war theater for bandits and other sects that are terrorizing this community. What do you make of this, of all this development?
As a Nigerian, I'm worried. I'm worried about where we are going to, especially the crisis in Benue State. Remember that Benue State is the food basket of the nation, and this is a major setback for us, food security. We have not even been able to produce enough food to feed us as a nation, to feed ourselves as a nation, and to think that what we are already relying on, or what is almost in the basket, is slipping away due to the fact that farmers cannot go to the farm, and their harvests are being destroyed due to the activities of bandits, and some say Fulani herdsmen. I have no way to confirm it. It's an allegation. It is up to the security people to define what is happening in North Central. And then the Plateau State, the Plateau issue has always been there. I mean, in the last 20 years or so, I remember the first major crisis in Plateau State was 2001. Since that time, Plateau State has never known peace. But I think basically the reason why we have remained static is because no one has been punished for their indiscretion, for their criminal activities. If you and I see every day that police are doing their investigation well, the judiciary is doing their work, and these criminals and their criminal activities are brought to the fore, and everybody is seeing convictions here and there. Everybody is seeing that some of these people are going to jail, some are getting death sentences. I can bet you that the whole thing will, in the course of time, fade away. But in all these years that we have been seeing this crisis, these major conflicts, whether it's among local communities or from invaders, from wherever, one thing stands out. Nobody, the law is not enforced enough to to arrest and punish these criminals. So that's why we are still having this issue. So for me, the bottom line is that we need to tell ourselves the home truth. Are we really running this country as it should be run? Is this, where is it in the world? In which society do we, where criminal activities take place on a daily basis? Yes, we know that crime is everywhere in the world. It's a global thing. But we see glimmer of hope when people are punished for their crime.
All right, Aja, you you wrote an article that centers on the fact that DSS have been one-sided, even in the discharge of their primary mandate. And for that, most people will tag you to be a prophet within the security space and architecture of Nigeria, studying some of your works, even with the Premium Times and also with, as right now, with the Blueprint newspaper. But then I want to ask at this point, what informed your decision into some of your articles that you've written, even about the DSS, even right now?
What is BSS?
Yes, you wrote an article about DSS where you said that if they are discharging their responsibilities, and we will look at what's happening right now in the country. Yeah, you want to respond to it quickly, ma'am?
Well, DSS is just an arm of government that I feel in the last few months with the new dispensation, the new Director General, DG, doing the best he can to be as transparent as he can be without making too much noise, contrary to what we saw in the past. So it's just based on that I wrote what I wrote. It's not like I'm validating some and having issues with some others. I mean, DSS, they do their work in the background, as you know very well. It's a covert operation, and I believe they are doing the best they can, but I don't know where the gap is that we have not been able to fix this problem. So I'm not in a position to say that this arm of government is where the fault is. The few things I can say are the ones I told you earlier about people not being punished for crimes, basically.
All right, Aja, thank you so much for that clarification. But then let's look around the issues that borders on insecurity in the country. For a lot of persons, they will say that this issue is beginning to metamorphose. From first, we had the Boko Haram insurgents that was able to take over a lot of space within the northeastern part of Nigeria. Then it moved to banditry. And now we are being confronted with the ISWAP and also the Lukarawa sect that is also terrorizing the North in general. And right now, not just the North, but the South is not even left even in this whole insecurity challenge. Where we also have the state of IPOB terrorizing the southern part of Nigeria. A lot of kidnappings in the country. But if in your own assessment right now, I haven't been able to do a research on this field, will you say that Nigeria is a safe haven right now for foreigners and also individuals that are traveling or sojourners to want to come say visit to Nigeria? How safe is the country in your own opinion?
Safe haven, I can't say. But generally, is Nigeria safe? Well, not as bad as we think, but it's bad enough that here we are talking about having investors, the foreign direct FDIs. But FDIs are not just about cities. Our major cities of Abuja, I'm not even sure it's safe enough. Our major cities of Lagos. If you really want to invest in Nigeria, you need to take it to some of the rural areas where some of these some materials actually reside where they are. But some of these rural areas, even within Abuja, at the outskirts of Abuja, the Abuja city and the precincts are not safe. And I had some bitter experiences with some of my brothers like a year ago. So no one can say he has not been touched. So if these places are not safe, I wonder how foreign direct investments or even investors generally will come to a nation that every day what we hear about is one one insurgent group or the other coming up. When Lakora came about, I was like, I thought we had gone past this. I thought we were on the way out of insurgency. Why do we have this now? But the worst of it is the fact that even Borno that we thought we had put the problems of Borno State that we thought we had put behind us. Some days ago, 2-3 days ago, we all saw how the governor came out to cry out over the possible fall of Marte in Borno State. That's to tell you that even the Boko Haram that you just mentioned, we had. It's not that we had it, we still have it around us. Then in addition to that, now we have ISWAP, we have this, we have that. And even in some parts of Kwara State, there's another one that was trying to emerge the other day. Maybe they have been able to nip it in the bud. So, of course, there's a correlation between security and investment. Because investment is not just about, even if you're even talking about investment by foreigners, what about investment within the country? How many people can go to a place like between Kuje and Gwagwalada, or between Gwagwalada and Kogi State, to say, okay, I want a large expanse of land and I want to do this or that. Before you know it, your staff will be kidnapped, and that will be the end of the business. So, no doubt, there's a lot of correlation between security and investment, or the growth of the economy generally. So that's it's a major issue, and I want to believe that those in charge are not sleeping. I want to believe that they know what they are doing, but we are, as citizens, innocent citizens, we are only looking for results and not excuses.
All right. Alaja, I want to say thank you so much for finding out time to be with us, even on Big Talk this evening.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
All right, we'll go for a short break right now. When we come back, we'll talk more even on this table, where we'll get to also talk with the ADC chairperson from Cross River State, who will be talking to us along political lines and the coalition of political parties. Please stay with us as the show continues in a moment. All right, welcome back. Just before we went on that break, we told you that we're going to be having here the African Democratic Congress and chairperson from Cross River State talks to us about various issues that are borders within the political space of Nigeria. And I'm having here with me John Oga, who is the chairperson of Cross River State African Democratic Congress. You're welcome to the Big Talk.
Thank you.
All right, John, let's delve into the conversation. First, we heard that there's going to be a coalition of various political parties across Nigeria, more like a merger, like what happened in 2022. Let's hear from you. What's the position even of the ADC, the African Democratic Party, involvement even in all of this coalition that is being proposed by various political parties across the country?
Okay, thank you. The ADC in this conversation, like Nigeria as a whole, we have gotten issues of bad governance. Nobody will say the hunger has not met him. So, and in the systems, we had to make a discussion around the conversation, and many parties proposed a coalition party, such that happened in 2013 to 2015 of the APC, that the APC came together. So we decided to talk about a coalition. So many parties came together, but you know that the system has been arranged to stifle any grand parties registration in INEC. So we had to go through another route to meet as other parties, other stakeholders, other people who want to rescue Nigeria together. We met and we decided that we'll use a party for a coalition, which many people looked at it and looked up that it was SDP that they were going to use. But I can tell you authoritatively today that ADC has been chosen, and all these matters have been fixed, and we are going to work to deliver 2027 to give Nigerians good governance.
All right, so let's talk in terms of ADC, in terms of the years of existence. ADC has been here for 20 years.
Yes.
And in terms of winning elections, they've not been much record of ADC winning elections. One would say that this is a very bad precedent for political growth and development. But you've been able to maintain the status quo for 20 years, even in a nascent democracy. What's the guarantees that ADC, that has never won an election in Nigeria, would be able to rally around and canvass for votes and be able to be the mouthpiece and forefront of the political dispensation of them and championing the cause of 2027 elections?
Okay. Like in this country that many politicians we don't really run a political ideology in this country. ADC has been a party of ideology, and ADC has won. Yes, we've not won any governorship seats, but we've won many parliamentary seats across the country in its 20 years of existence. And currently we had about 4 people who won on the platform, 2 House of Rep members and we had 2 House of Assembly members, but which our system that anybody wins election and run to go to the party in government. So one of them had defected, but the rest are still intact in the party. And we know that ADC is going to be that party to lead us to the El Dorado Nigeria all Nigerians are looking at. Because I can tell you their logo, their ideology, there's what we call the ADC and DNA. And every day, every month, we have a lecture with our people to sell the ideology of the party. For people to work with ideologies, not because we use party as a machinery, just to get power. But we have an ideology and we have a plan for Nigerian superpower in the next 23 years, once we take government over. Nigeria becomes a superpower in the world. And we have a calculated plan to fix that. So ADC had worked with ideology. We don't play money politics in ADC. We play ideological politics, that people will come to understand the ideology of this party and move with it until we get power. You know, we are in a place where the highest bidder takes it. This is our country that mammon, money, has become the order of the day. So nobody cares about good governance. It's about how much they can bring, hijack power and go there to steal. But ADC has a different approach. And I believe very strongly that is the reason why when other parties were looked at, ADC was chosen for the party of the coalition ahead of 2027.
Well, for 20 years, it's been said that ADC, I beg your pardon, does not have a structure. And the ADC is being championed by a particular individuals within the party. But right now, we've seen Nwosu, who is your party chairman, and we've seen a faction also springing forth from the ADC and saying that they can't recognize Nwosu as the chairman of the party. All of this internal democracy playing out and also affecting the ADC. Are you talking about ideology? What's the difference between ADC and other political parties? If ADC does not have a structure and its ideology is not reflecting in the political tussle going on even in the party right now?
What do we call structure? Because if we want to go about structure, structure is an organizational arrangement that an organization set up for its progress. It is not about having what chairman, having political party, they call it structures. Yes, but we have what chairman, we have their ESCOs.
In the 774 local governments?
Yes.
Okay.
We have them. I can speak for my state. I can speak for at least, I know some chairmen because I've been to their states for meetings and for grand meetings, and their ward chairmen were there in those meetings, and you see them speak and you know that these people here are really going forward to get what they want to do, and they want to deliver Nigeria, they want to deliver their state, because most times you hear them speak, you know that these people have a focus, because that is the game of ADC. ADC, we train and retrain on. We do human capital development. We try to develop you in the place where if you get opportunity to be in government and serve, you know that you are going there for service, not to loot and become rich. And ADC have a structure. I don't care. I don't understand. We had over 100 parties in this country, but they registered many, and 18 are left. ADC is part of them. So when you say ADC doesn't have a structure, how did they stay true? How did they stay true? ADC has structures.
Oh, okay. You mind sharing the structures with us of ADC?
Like every party has their organogram, has their constitution.
We know that the normal organogram for every political party should be around the caucus, then to the branch, then to the cell, and we now end up probably in the military wing. Let's start with the military wing of ADC. Is there a structure for the military wing?
We don't have military
wing. So if we don't have
a
structure for the military wing, is there a structure for the cells?
We have structures for the cells.
Which you call the ward.
Yes.
But the caucus, are there branch even to form the structure which has become like a political discourse for political parties to be hold and be able to and be held responsible for electoral processes?
ADC has the polling unit structures in their constitution. They have in their constitution. They have the chapters in their constitution. They have the zones, that is central district. They have the states. They have the zone as geopolitical zones, and they have the national. We have structures even up to the polling units, which is not common with other parties. Other parties just they appoint people to go and cause problem in the polling unit, but we have structures, ESCOs, executive, for every polling unit in the country.
All right, so let's talk about this coalition, even of the party right now. What we're seeing right now and some of the documents that are available to media is that once this whole coalition process is seen through, that the ADC as a party will collapse, and SDP and other parties will begin to form the superstructures of this party. But looking at this as a member and as a chairman of the ADC, what do you make of this development, of this collapse of your structure in order to build a more superstructure that can withstand the ruling All Progressive Congress?
I would say ADC has capacity, people who have capacity to lead, as in the current. But you know, when other people are coming into a building, you have to create a bit of space for them to be part of.
Even if you need to vacate your office and the structure needs to be collapsed.
We are not talking about vacating our offices.
Okay, please.
We are talking about giving some and taking some, because people are coming from the APC, some of them that say the government and the governance of the country is bad and we are in bad hands, and they want to join us rescue the party. People are coming from the APC, people are coming from the PDP, those progressives, not the charlatans around there. You know, in politics we have many political charlatans because most of them have come around public monies. They think that there's somebody, the ones that you can check their track record, many of them check their track records and you know that these ones, they did well in power. Most of them are coming in. So you have to give some space for them to be accommodated. We are not talking about breaking the structures. I'm just saying some things will be given out depending on how viable the structures is in the state. Because you know that we have structures here, but there are some people, some states that have people who are very solid. And there are some states that you know that some places are feeble. You need to give out and take. Even when you have strong people, you need to renegotiate the positions. Some people take this one, some people take this one. So all of you will come together. We are not saying somebody abdicates your position. No. We are not saying that we will not still create avenue. No. But it is something that we are doing in the discussion already. The discussion is on. And first of all, we have finally had the party that they have chosen the ADC. They have chosen the ADC, which we have had meetings. We have even had summits.
As against the SDP, even though the ADC did stand a chance even in the last election. Adebayo stood more chance even in the last election compared to
there was crisis. There was crisis in the last election,
yeah,
and it's still caused by part of the ruling party.
We can't say that for sure. It's an allegation which you're laboring against
exactly.
the leading All Progressive Congress. But we saw in the 2023 election that ADC didn't stand a chance. Then SDP stood a chance in the person of Adebayo. NNPP, which a person from Kwankwaso was able to represent effectively, and also we saw the outcome. Labour Party was also being represented by Peter Obi, and we saw the outcome. But we didn't see that of the first 5 political parties in terms of political evolution and results in Nigeria. We didn't see the ADC talk about structure. Why ADC of all political parties?
Okay, I would say
if ADC does not stand a chance of even for the 2023 governorship election, knowing fully well that the presidency election of 2023 was the bedrock for political development because it brought in the Labour Party for the first time that we saw emerge and was able to change the narratives even in campaign grounds. ADC was neither in any of this scope or parameters to judge the elections. Why would they settle down for the ADC? You
would not say ADC was not anywhere. If you check in the country, apart from the APC, we had the highest presidential aspirants on our platform.
You mean SDP or
ADC in 2023 election, towards 2023 election, we had the highest presidential aspirant on our platform. And it was not 1 naira debate for their form. You know what I mean? So we had the highest, but there was an internal issue that happened because ADC was primed by the youth of Nigeria that was the party they were going. They even did an adoption in Lagos, they did adoption in Abuja. There was massive crowd and saying ADC is the party to go because we have 35% for the youth, 35% for women. Then the rest can be shared across. So we had 35% each. So when the youth saw that this party welcomes them, they came in and they did adoption across the country that ADC was the party to run. Many people ran to the party. When most of I will not make mention of a particular party, which I know I have details, but I will not talk on TV right now. Most of them saw that there was ADC was emerging and ADC might be they had to send some people even to buy forms to see how they can use the party. We mainly the emerged winner of the primaries. They started stifling the party, trying to break the party into two, and see that because they knew that ADC was the party to beat in the election. So what did they do? They had to use the other arm. And ADC, because we have a straight mind, we're good hearts for Nigerians, we never looked at it that people were going to come to do such in our party. So, and that is what puts ADC below the belt. And if you saw ADC as a party with integrity, went straight, And they even expelled their presidential candidate as at that time. You should know that they expelled him because when they discovered that this is what he was sent for, they expelled him from the party. There is hardly anybody that does that in Nigerian system today. But we went straight and expelled him. And that was what caused the chaos in the ADC. And finally, we had how they call weathered that storm actually. And today we are forging ahead. I want to deliver good governance to Nigeria. And in 2027, ADC comes on board. We are very sure of this.
Well, ADC tend not to be a very popular political party, even within the eastern part of Nigeria. When you mention the word ADC, it sounds very strange. But now, championing the cause of coalition, even among opposition party, it sounds very strange. If you assess all of this, do you think that this merger will, or in this particular merger and coalition, will favor people from the east, knowing fully well that your party is not on the leading front and is not popular within the eastern part of Nigeria?
We cannot say ADC is not popular. We cannot say so. Yeah, there was a rave that came through last time and some people went there, but you cannot say this is not popular.
In the eastern part of Nigeria?
It is popular.
Not in all part of Nigeria. Let's assess it from the eastern part of Nigeria. How popular is ADC? Okay. How many people from the east know ADC? How many card-carrying members from the ADC do we have from the eastern part of Nigeria?
Like, I will tell you, I'm not the national vice chairman Southeast, so I will not be able to make that conversation. But if it's the ADC, I know that ADC, at least in Abia State, I do business in Abia State. So I can tell you that ADC is popular there. ADC is popular in Abia State. So, but for the information about how many people and what, I'm not the national vice chairman there, so I cannot say. I'm just the state chairman of Cross River State. But where I do business, I know that ADC is popular there. I can say that authoritatively.
Well, there tend to be this speculations around people being sad with the fact that there is going to be a coalition and a merger, and ADC is going to be championing the cause. First, party members are already sampling their opinions of being sad. Aggrieved party members have come out to say that ADC is their brainchild, and as such, ADC should remain what it is. But then, for the larger good of Nigerians, people will say that ADC can become the bedrock for which the new frontiers of Nigerian democracy can be built upon. But looking at this and try to assess this with aggrieved members, and knowing fully well the party will want to carry every member even on this voyage, can we say at this point that if APC decide to look the other way, which it has always stood for, it has always stood for, I beg your pardon, it has always stood for the fact that it represents the mandate of its members. If it turns the other way right now and go into a coalition, won't this be a disservice and also be going against its primary mandate, which is to represent the mandate of its people?
Okay, I would say, I don't know where you got that information from.
I'm a journalist.
If people are disgruntled already and they say they wanted this to remain that way, no, all of us are up for it. We should have had protests. We should have had, politics. Sometimes people fight.
We've seen that. We've seen
exactly
what is going on already with the factions, even from the ADC. Of course, you know that there's a faction right now from the ADC.
Right now, we are not. I don't know about any factions because I know that the people who had an issue, we solved that problem through ADR, alternate dispute resolution. And we solved them. Most of them were in courts, in the Supreme Court and stuff with the party. And they had a faction, yes, but we had to use another system to settle. And we settled, and most of them came out of court. And they're no more in court. They withdrew their cases all in the Supreme Court. If the party was not able to put the house together, we should have said they had a faction. Right now, we don't have a faction. We are working together to see that Nigerians benefit from their own nation. Nigeria is so rich. Nigeria is so rich, but when people who either they are kleptomaniacs, they come into power, they want to take everything for themselves, and they don't care about the citizenry, it's when you see things like insecurity has risen in the country. So ADC, if ADC was not chosen, then we should have had a question for it, because ADC already we have leadership in our DNA. We have leadership in our DNA. So, and that is why when they saw we have one of the best brands in this country, handshake, friendship, love, community. That's our logo. So when they looked at everything, you know, that they going through the INEC, we cannot say about INEC, we cannot say anything, but you know, we are in this country, we know what happened. So we'll not say anything about INEC directly, but we can say, going through the processes of registering a coalition party might take time. And when it takes that time, we have a problem. So we decided in the whole country, let them look for one of the most viable party, a party that has leadership in their DNA, that has focus in developing Nigeria. When they looked around, they say ADC was the platform. And all of them came to ADC. Many people rumored that it was other parties, but no, ADC finally was taken.
All right. John Oga, let's even look at this fact that as it stands right now, if the political parties and coalition of political parties decide to look the other way around and say they don't want to support the ADC, they want to front the ADC as the movement for a coalition, will the ADC move and shift its ground to join other political party in order to rescue Nigerians, like Nigerians will say, from the hand of the All Progressive Congress?
First of all, I want to situate very, very, very authoritatively here in these studios today. I want to say something. If ADC was not trusted, we should not have been picked.
So if politicians can decide to look the other way around.
That's what I'm saying. If they were not trusted, they shouldn't have been picked.
So if politicians now look the other way around, will ADC still be part of the coalition?
This conversation has ended. ADC has been chosen already.
We still have 2 years to the election. And of course, 2027 is just 2 years away from today.
Exactly.
If 2 years, within 2 years, a lot of things can happen, a lot of things can transpire. If the politicians decide to look the other way around and take this coalition away from the ADC, will ADC still be part of the coalition that will rescue Nigeria from where it is right now, even from the hand of the All Progressive Congress, like you've said, are not performing?
I would not. There's a question you're asking. I am not the ADC, but I am a member of the ADC. And I'm
From your own angle, as a chairman, I believe you have a chairman forum where some of these conversations also can be looked into. Yeah.
ADC started this conversation. ADC actually initiated the conversation of the coalition since 2000, immediately after the elections of 2023. 2 months after the elections, ADC initiated it and started holding meetings with other party chairmen. They come to our meetings, and we started the conversation, the coalition. And let us look at it that amongst the parties that were registered, over 23 of the national party chairmen came to ADC already with their structures. The reason is because ADC can be trusted. When you have a conversation with ADC, no, go and sleep. ADC already can be trusted. So I know that we have in every 12, even when Jesus Christ was there, in every 12 there's a Judah. But we know that ADC can be trusted, and we know that the national leadership will not go the way that will truncate the coalition stance and welcoming them.
So you are saying invariably that if ADC is not eventually picked as the number one party for the coalition, if things go the other way around, ADC will also be part of the coalition, whether the party is picked or not.
We started the conversation.
So you're saying that you'll be picked?
Yeah, we will be part of it.
If ADC is not picked as the number one party to champion the cause of the
ADC is already picked.
If things go the other way around, will ADC still follow through to ensure that Nigerians look even at the side of other political parties and the coalition to be able to compete in the 2027 election?
Your question is not asked right. What if it went the other way? But it has not gone the other way. It is in the way of ADC.
We're still speculating. 2 years is still very far, and we don't know what will transpire next 2 years. Politicians and their gimmicks, we don't know what to expect. But then we hope that ADC will be able to keep and be committed to a cause right now.
The conversation has been sealed, and we are waiting. Like this evening, we're given some informations this evening, and we know that ADC has given room, and most of them have started coming in. Like I've gotten like more than a series of calls from some prominent Nigerians from my state already, and they are coming on into the party already. Some of them have asked me for their chapter chairman numbers. They want to go to their ward and make some registrations. So they are coming in. So we are not saying for sure that there's something speculation. No, people are already have started coming. So we know that ADC has been chosen, and ADC will not do anything to truncate that conversation.
Wow. Viewers, this is how far we can go today on the Big Talk here on Global Television. I want to say thank you so much, Mr. John Oga, for finding out time to be with us today, even on the Big Talk.
Okay, you're welcome, sir.
Well, do remember that you can join the conversation on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. And you can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Enjoy the rest of your evening.